This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City.
Hello, Emily.
Hello, John.
What are we going to talk about today? What?
I know what we're going to talk about.
Okay, well, I'd like to know too.
How in the world were you brought up? How did you used to have breakfast? Because the way you have breakfast now, you have a breakfast routine. It's very routine.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. When you were a kid, is that what you did when you were a kid? You didn't have bagels in Knoxville, Tennessee.
No, we had grits every morning. Grits, and usually there was a bacon gravy it was just the grease from the bacon drippings, and we put that in the grits, and then occasionally we'd have an egg.
Grits from the bacon, you would put bacon grease in the grits,
and you'd cook the egg in the bacon grit in the bacon fat. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't try that on me.
Well, that was our breakfast, and then on Sundays, Dad would buy on Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, he'd go by the market and buy salt mackerel, and my mama would put it. I think she would put it in buttermilk overnight to absorb some of the salt, and we'd have that and cornmeal
pancakes.
Yes, they had a name for them, doughboys or hush puppies, and that was an incredibly good breakfast.
Thank goodness for the stores that have bagels.
Yeah, well, that's what. We have both been eating the same thing for the last 5 years.
Well, when I was little, my favorite breakfast.
Would you want to tell people what we have for the last 5 years?
Bagel.
Okay, a half a bagel. We get a half.
If I wanted a whole bagel, I would have a whole bagel.
That's right,
but I don't want more than a half a bagel.
That's what we have, and I use butter on mine, and sometimes some jam.
And mostly I have mine plain. Occasionally I have butter on mine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now when I was little,
what?
I used to have chocolate cake for breakfast.
Chocolate cake?
Yes, we had a maid. Her name was Anne, and she was part of our family. And
that sounds delicious.
It was wonderful. And the frosting was so good. And there was nothing like chocolate cake for breakfast.
Oh, man. That's a really great idea.
Oh, you like that idea?
Oh, man. I'm going to have trouble with my bagel in the morning. Thinking about that chocolate. Well, my dad's grandfather, I think, but he loved his desserts, so he would start every meal
with dessert
first, because he wanted to have the best taste first when he was hungry.
That's a good idea.
And he ate the dessert, and then he would have his meal. And sometimes he'd eat a whole pie.
And sometimes John would make waffles. John makes waffles.
Yeah.
And we have had waffles for breakfast, and we have had pancakes. And he's a super pancake maker.
Well, thank you, darling. We haven't had pancakes for a long time.
Well, I guess because
I'm getting hungry just thinking about all this stuff.
Want to go and have a little bit of everything, a little chocolate cake?
Oh, some of the breakfasts that you get when you go to conventions or English people, they have everything they have all the things we've been talking about, cake included, and salt mackerel or some kind of fish, salty fish, and oh man, and scrambled eggs and poached eggs, and oh gosh.
Well, I'll tell you something.
What?
I think we're going to stick with bagel.
That's right.
We toast them exactly the same way every morning.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. And while they're toasting, the coffee is getting ready, is boiling.
Yeah.
And then we pour the coffee in and the bagel, and it's perfect timing.
You know, one of the reasons why I feel good about eating the same thing every morning is the fact that when I had a dog, I was told that you should feed the dog the same kind of food all the time because it gets sick.
And now you're the dog.
I'm the dog.
Okay.
Woof, woof.
Woof, woof. Thank you, John Cullum, for our conversation about breakfast.
And thank you, Emily, for being so delightfully delicious, like a good breakfast.
Okay.
We'll see you next week.
This is AI.R. See you next week.